Yeah, my childhood, I grew up pretty much in a Christian home. Yeah, both my parents went to church. They didn't necessarily go to the same church, but we went to church. And going to church when I was a kid wasn't an option. Yeah, it was like the term, my parents drug me to church. If you've ever heard that term, that was my life as a kid. So yeah, we would go to Sunday school every Sunday morning, then church after that, and then every extracurricular thing that church could do. And I grew up in a traditional Baptist church. Both the churches that my parents went to were traditional Baptist. And I used to actually hate going to church. I thought it was either really boring or really overhyped sometimes. And so I was just going through the motions. When I was a kid, spiritual things interested me, even things that I consider ungodly to this day, but just spiritual things in general, like even voodoo, things like that. I found that really interesting. Mm-hmm. And I just started, I guess, kind of seeing that, because I really wasn't exposed to like a whole lot of other religions and stuff. My parents would tell me things like just the people that are like not within our household were possibly atheists. I never even considered the concept that there wasn't a God or anything like that. I just even as a kid, just loved the stars, and I just loved thinking that there was a designer and a creator out there. So I've always kind of believed that there was a God. 10, 11, 12, that area, I got exposed to sexually immoral things at a young age, and like so far as like pornography in the home and stuff like that. And so those were small seeds that I did not understand at that time, but there were small seeds planted that would eventually come into fruition once I got into middle school. So once I got to 8th grade, that same guy that I was involved with before, I liked him because he was one of my neighbors. So we were actually friends, and so it was kind of like the girl next door, guy next door type of thing. And yeah, in 8th grade, we did things that we weren't supposed to be doing, and I eventually pretty much got hurt by him. It's kind of after that, he didn't really want anything to do with me and stuff like that. So I became pretty bitter towards him, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pretty much hurt whoever else that I come in contact with to make sure that I wouldn't get hurt again. Mm-hmm. So once I got to high school, that really came into fruition. Because my idea, because I've never been a really girly type girl. So, and I grew up around all guys. And so once I got to high school, I started getting into lesbianism and stuff. I started out first bisexual because I was on the fast pitch team, and a lot of the girls that I knew on there were already either bisexual or straight up lesbian. And so I was just kind of looking up to them, they're older than me, I want to be like them. So I started trying to do some of the things that they did. And so eventually I just transitioned from bisexual to just straight up lesbian, because I'm just I'm done with guys. I don't want to do anything with them anymore, And I felt like being a lesbian would be empowering for me. It would give me power over another female, because, since I'm more masculine, then I could, I guess, be able to control her more or something like that. So having control, making sure nobody else hurt me, but I would hurt so many people. And eventually, towards the end of my freshman year in high school, when all my friends, they were seniors, and they were graduating, they were leaving, and so pretty much I just cut off the immediate contact and stuff. So I'm just well, what do I do now? And so sort of in my sophomore year, I started to I guess kind of take their place in a way. And so I started leading other freshmen at the time into that lifestyle. and I ended up hurting them, hurting other people in that process. And towards the beginning of 2010, which was like the second half of my sophomore year in high school, I started to, I guess, actually consider giving my life to Christ. I felt like God was really telling me, like, hey, if you continue in this sin, you're going to hell. And I knew I deserved death, I knew my heart was wicked and cold and cynical. I knew what path I was going down, So I was just so unsatisfied with things of this world, just from the lust to just manipulating people and things like that. And so like all of this is like going on. Like my parents don't even know about all of this. It's like just secret. Like nobody really knew except for like my closest friends and the people that I was involved with. So and I think my brother even had a hint, but he didn't know any details. But so far as like in February of 2010, I started actually contemplating suicide, because I'm just like, nothing in this world is satisfying. I don't really want to be here. I keep getting hurt and stuff. And so I never could muster up the guts to actually do it, which I'm glad. But Jesus really encountered me in that, because it was during that time my brother was going through a bad breakup as well, so he was contemplating suicide at the same time. And I saw the pain that he was causing my mom, and so that made me really rethink that for myself. And so eventually towards March, I was just finally like, okay, God, this is so unsatisfying. Like, especially like after another sexual encounter with this guy, I was just like, nothing is satisfying. It's still not satisfying. There's still something so much more that I want. And I was like, there's got to be more to life than all of this. And it was then, it's like I wanted to leave this earth, but I didn't really want to die. So I was just like, I just want to be alone with Jesus, but be out of this earth. And I'm not necessarily sure what actually made me say that, but I know it was him in a way. But yeah, it was in that those times I actually started really submitting to him. He started showing me how much he really loved me, and how he wasn't so much concerned with my behavior, but my heart, because I knew my heart was wicked. And I tried to fix my heart, try to do volunteer work, do good things. But at the end of the day, my heart was still wicked. I still had all these sinful desires. And I was still cold-hearted, still cynical, and still like unfeeling in my heart. And so I just finally submit to God, realizing that I could not clean myself. I could not have my own righteousness or anything like that. And so I finally submit to him sometime in March 2010. I got baptized April 4th, 2010. And that was definitely a big change in my life. Like immediately after I went down to the altar in church, it was like immediately once I got home, I felt refreshed on the inside. And it was amazing. I just wanted to like scream, because it felt awesome. And I was like, this is satisfying. So so after I got saved, I actually had an awesome opportunity to leave my current high school and go to a residential high school called MSMS, Mississippi School for Mathematics and Science. And so I got accepted to go there. So I really wanted to take the opportunity to just kind of really seek God for real and like have a real relationship with him, and not be so focused on, okay, God just wants to bless me, God just wants me to not sin and live a happy life. But it's so much more to Christianity than that. And that's when I learned that my junior year of high school, when I was at MSMS, that God actually had a specific purpose for me, that he actually wanted to be with me and like love me and like experience me just like in a real relationship. And so that really was like the dynamite to my relationship with God. It really propelled me forward and just helped further develop me in all areas of my life. The idea that God actually likes me I used to think, okay, I sinned, now I should be on some sort of probation or like in timeout or something. But no, he eventually really showed me that I can come right back to him even after that he will love me out of that sin. And yeah, just from then and then going up until graduation, I grew so much, and I really got a hunger for the Word, and just a hunger to actually serve God and love Him and make Him known and like share the gospel. So once I got to college, even more so, it's like more dynamite was dropped into my life. I got involved with a prayer group here called the Prayer Furnace. And the people there, they really helped me develop my prayer life. Because before I would just be like, okay, just telling God everything that I wanted and stuff. But they really helped me to see that, He is a real person, and that He really hears, and that He really cares about every single thing that I am praying about. He cares about everything that I care about. And so He really just developed me in that time. And even now, as a junior here at Mississippi State, He's still developing me. Right now, I'm currently getting a heart for the Iranian community here. And I just really appreciate what God is doing in my life. I'm just learning that Jesus actually cares about me, that the cross wasn't just something that he grudgingly did. He was just like, oh, I'm going to the cross, whatever. But He actually went to the cross with me in mind. And that He was like, yes, I see you in your sin, and I'm dying for you specifically. That even if you turn to me or if you never turn to me, I will continue loving you. So even just from His death, burial, and resurrection, just learning how to receive that new life in Christ, it is definitely available to all people who want to come to this river and drink.